Hey guys. Um, I normally don't come on live early during the day. Hey guys, sorry about that. I had a call. I normally don't come on live during the day. Hey, Ray, how we doing, darling? Because I'm normally working on my schoolwork. One of the decisions that I made when I left teaching was that I may not be working for someone, but I am still working. And so my day is normally kept with doing my business of the books or with school. And so that is my work. But it's hard today. It really is hard today. Because looking at the murder in Tulsa and then looking at just hearing about the situation in North Carolina, it's hard because I understand racism. I do. I've experienced it on both sides and I've seen how it works. But the problem that I have is that we don't want to acknowledge the fear because people disliking people because of the color of their skin, that's been going on since the beginning of time. But when you have officers who are sworn to do a job, I don't care what that job is, you can't do that job if you're fearful of the people that you're working with. Now, my connection to this, I have never been an officer, let me just say that first. But I have worked in some very difficult schools, in very difficult neighborhoods, and have had to work with police firsthand. And when I work with teachers, and when I work with police, having been a dean whose job it is to take care of discipline and to deal with police situations in school, you can't do that job as an officer if you are scared or fearful of the people that you are sworn to protect. And the reason why is fear overrides your senses. Fear changes the way you think. And people are not paying attention to that because it is actually the excuse used to kill someone. In every situation, an officer is allowed to say, I feared for my life. So then all bets is out the window. The officer is allowed to use any force necessary to preserve his own or her own life. But we don't want to seem to address the fear in place before it got to that point. We don't seem to want to, as a people in this country, as litigants and people who are supposed to be protecting us, no one wants to admit that we have individuals working who's supposed to be working for. Remember, these are public servants. And having been a public servant for 20 years, I know what that means. You cannot be a public servant and fearful of the public that you are supposed to be protecting. And what hurts is that everyone starts looking for different excuses, different avenues. Shout out to Brother Hearn. We were just speaking on Facebook when we talked about the improprieties and the videos and everything like that. And I was sitting there this morning and I was talking to Tiff, and I realized that I didn't watch the conference with the press conference with the I guess the chief or whoever, when she said they told her that he was reaching through a window, and then you see the brothers showed last night that the window was closed. See, right there I have a problem. If you say you were fearful of your life because I reached into my car unannounced, and so you had to kill me, okay, plausible. But the minute that I show that the window was not open and that you are lying, everybody involved should go to jail. I'm sorry. Because you invoked what should be the last line of defense. The last line of defense is, I feared for my life, so I took his life. Okay, I acknowledge that is needed, because I've been out here with some of these kids. And I've been out in these streets. And I've seen how some of these Negroes act in the streets. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting the blame where it shouldn't be. I've seen some of these brothers and how they get down. I've been in the car with some of them and had to ask to get out, just like in Boys in the Hood. Let me out. Y'all cats is riding dirty. So I understand the need to protect yourself, and I understand the need to come home. God knows I do. But once it is proven that you lied, all bets is off. Because then what are we as the people who have to now figure out a way to get around? See, we can't bring the brother back in Tulsa. Nothing we do, nothing that comes from this, nothing that is going to be figured out is going to bring that brother back. But the question becomes, how do my sons get home? How do I get home? How does anybody get home when they don't know what to do? If you don't resist, it seems like if you resist, you get shot. If you don't resist, you're getting shot. So my thing is, the only outcome has to be the use of the law. We have to, where are the lawyers who see this to be wrong? I'm not a lawyer. And if I can see it to be wrong, where the hell are the lawyers who see this to be wrong? Why are they not taking these cases pro bono? Why are they not helping these families out and showing up in droves when we have tons of lawyers who show up when you've had a damn accident? Commercials up the behind on, have you ever been in an accident? Have you ever took this drug? Have you ever took that drug? Where the hell are the lawyers to defend these families? Because we have to start making individuals pay, and pay dearly. Because if not, you only set up more of the same situation to where these riots are going to turn deadly. They're not going to show restraint why folks of color destroy property. Now, they don't have a problem with us destroying our own neighborhoods. They never did. They'll literally let you destroy your own neighborhood because you got to live there. They don't care about that. But the minute you try to venture into a neighborhood that's not yours or a neighborhood that's affluent, oh, you're going to get murdered. And they'll only allow you to destroy your own neighborhood, but so far, because the cleanup is going to cost a lot of money. So at some point, they're going to stop you and kill you then too. So that's not the answer. So trying to fight those who have guns with no guns is not the answer. It never has been the answer. And they know that. That's actually why it's allowed. Actually, if you pay attention, you actually see the officers armed to the teeth, but they just hold their position because they'll let you burn up your own neighborhood. They're not worried about silencing that. They can silence that in seconds. They just have to worry about the fallout because they know that there's innocent people that's standing around, so you don't know who to kill. And if you just start killing everybody, it's a whole big legal thing. You gotta read more. So that's not the answer. So then what are the answers? Because too many people get on, they whine and complain, but they don't offer any answers. I'm trying to find answers. And I believe the answers is, one, we have to keep videotaping. I don't care how threatening police get to you when your phone is out, keep it out and keep it on. Second, I am begging the lawyers that I know, and I know a few, stop worrying about what it's going to do with your relationship with whoever, and start finding ways to defend these families. Start finding ways to offer legal assistance to these families, and we have to start making these police departments pay. Because if one thing happens, if enough of these officers are found guilty and enough money is paid out, they will make changes. Economic loss always causes change. It's proven in this country. This country is fueled by its love for money. So because this country is fueled by its love for money, when we hit them in the pocket, things change. Because right now, there's no incentive for an officer other than moral character. That's very key. Because not all officers are bad. I don't care what you think. It's not the case. But if moral character is the only defense, well, then we already know many will cross that line and then come back and act like everything is okay. Hence the silence. Start charging. Not only the officer who committed the crime, every officer involved who knew what the truth was, who did nothing, charge them. Charge them money. Take money away from them. Give it to the families involved. And you will see some, if not more than some, will start to change how they behave. Because we can't do this alone, people of color. Never have been. No time in history did we do it alone. So folks of color have to understand, we can't tie a line that it's us against them. Will never work. But we need as many of them to join us to change what is currently the situation. The same as we did during slavery. It was white folks who opened up their cabins and allowed us to hide on our way north. During the civil rights movement, there were white lawyers and white activists who fought alongside folks of color to change the voting situations and to change the abuses. So we can't do this by ourselves. So I'm not promoting a us versus them situation. What I'm promoting is that if we want to end this, we have to acknowledge that there's fear. Change that fact. Get rid of folks who are scared to do the job. Also, brothers and sisters, stop whining and complaining and start stepping up and taking some of these jobs yourself. Stop whining about the police that's in your neighborhood if you're not going to become that, to clean that up. We keep talking about neighborhood policing, but we don't have no one from the neighborhood wanting to become police. If you're going to fix a problem, fix it all the way around. But like I wrote in the status, fear is the first thing we have to fix. Fear is the thing that we have to fix because you cannot solve a problem when you are fearful. You cannot get to a solvent answer when you're fearful. And a cop in an environment of people of color, when they're not, that's fearful, you can't fix the situation. Now, we don't know what happened prior to the other cop's camera coming on. But my thing is, why wasn't that initial officer's camera on in her car? That's a problem. If it was deemed that she turned it off or never turned it on because she wasn't doing her job, she should have to pay for that. We have to find a way to legally make changes, because you can take to the streets all you want. And you can get here on Facebook and all the other stuff and yell and scream, but if you're not doing, if you're not actively involved, then you're not fixing anything. If you're not taking time out to work with folks, to get them to understand how to carry themselves, if you're not actually learning what some of the laws are, and then when situations happen like this where they take an innocent man's life, as far as we know, then we have to fight to make sure those laws stand up. That's why I'm calling on the lawyers. And you should do the same in whatever neighborhood, town that you live in. Call on the lawyers in your neighborhood. Why are they not taking these cases for free? And if they are, God bless them. Hold these police accountable. Hold your politicians who love showing up when they want something. Don't pick it outside the police station. Pick it outside the cat that you voted for. And if you didn't vote, shame on you. Make him have to work for his money or her money. It's not just one-sided. Start holding people accountable to the jobs that they signed up for. while doing your part. Because we can't fix this alone. And I'm sitting here now and I got work to do. And part of the reason why I chose a second master's degree in counseling is because I know brothers and sisters need help. But it hurts when you look at a TV screen and you go, well, that's what I would have done. I would have just lifted my hands up not to have any problems. And you still get murdered? Something has to change. And anger is what comes from fear. See, what you're watching in North Carolina, and you will see in Tulsa if there's no answer, fearful men of color turn into very angry individuals. And in doing that, it then opens up the door for then that fear for my safety, which then opens up the door to allow them to murder as many that are involved in creating that fear. We have to understand that. One of the first things I learned as a dean is I have to quickly de-escalate a situation long before I can investigate a situation. Was the current situation of our society and mistreatment of our people of color treated alone by people not of color? No, I just said that. We need everyone involved. We need everyone involved to understand that this is wrong. And it's not just people of color that's being murdered, it's people of color that's being televised. Because there's people being murdered by officers all over. The question becomes, how do we get those who don't look like us to come to the table? Every day I encounter people wondering, will it be my exact? Well, see, that's the fear. And that's what I'm talking about, is that fear predicates poor decision. See, the more fearful a person is, a great point, Trev, because I'm the same way. The point is, when you have brothers and sisters that's fearful when they're behind the wheel of their car, you don't think straight when you're fearful. So you thought you put the car in park, but you didn't put it all the way because you were scared. So the car lurches forward, cop shoot you. You're fearful, so you just want to get out to explain yourself because you're scared, and you open up the door, cop shoot you because you're scared. Because that cop is scared. But here's the thing. The officer is the primary source of whatever when something happens. He or she can make that situation so much easier to deal with while still dealing with whatever may come up with. And if I didn't watch officers up close, maybe I would say, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Were we part of the creation of our mistreatment? Yes. Because just because an abuse happened to me, it's what I do after I acknowledge the abuse, brother. Yes, slavery happened. Yes, things in this country have not been equal. We got that. And it's not going to be equal because we haven't even been free as long as we were slaves. But if we're not going to police our own communities, if we're not going to police our own, if we're not going to police our own house, slavery and those that abuse us have nothing to do with that. We have to control our neighborhoods. Because here's the key. If we control our homes and our neighborhoods, there's less need for more police. See, police are going to be sent to areas of high crime. No, we're not responsible for their fear, but we're part of it. We're part of it. You know why? We don't police our own. We know in our neighborhoods, at least, who is doing what. We don't check it. We don't say nothing. We actually enveloped a code of not snitching. Okay, we're not going to snitch to the police. Our power to control everything. No, it has not been taken away. No, it has not been taken away. When we allow drug dealers or we allow folks in our neighborhoods to do damage and we do nothing, that's us. We could control that because there's neighborhoods and there's communities of people of color that take care of their own. Not that many, but there's some. We have to take back control. We have to instruct our own to take care of our own. We as men have to take care or take back our homes and our neighborhoods. And we can take back our homes and neighborhoods because there's a lot of brothers and sisters who are out here doing that, just not enough. We're part of the problem when we don't address what's going on on at least in front of our house. I've watched people watch drug deals go on and just slide past. They don't want to have nothing to do with it. Okay? Well, what do you think comes next? And if we're dying anyway, it is not a matter of policing our own when we let their standard of law dictate right or wrong. Well, that's the thing. We don't have to allow their standard of right or wrong dictate what goes on in our neighborhoods. The police are going to do what they do. That's why we need lawyers. I said, that's why we lawyers and police, former police and current police to step up and say something, because they're in those circles. But we have to control what we can control outside of those circles. And then together, combined, we can change that. Because we can't change what they're being taught, how they're being taught, unless we offer some type of solution. The problem is the brothers and sisters who are actually trying to do positive, there's not enough of them, and then we're not linking up. And I know it because school is one of the first places that you can come in a non-violent, non-threatening way to be able to come in and at least have a conversation. We can't get folks of color to come. But let a child be touched and the whole neighborhood wants to come up to the school. So you can make it then if something happens. Why wait? Why not be preemptive, proactive? The partners, the Panthers in the UPS reduced crime in black areas, and they were sought out and destroyed. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. But does that mean that we don't follow their lead because they were destroyed? Just because they were destroyed doesn't mean that what they were doing wasn't working. Their 10-point plan is still as solid today in any neighborhood that's suffering through problems. The thing is, do we have brothers and sisters as bold as the Panthers? And remember, the Panthers were created on knowing the law first. Half our brothers and sisters don't know the law, Lisa. So we have to be able to teach that. You, me, and all the rest of us who are educated have to bring that education back home and teach our brothers and sisters who don't know what to do. And then we have to keep those cameras on. We have to then force litigation. How many people actually went to the police review board and actually filled out a complaint when they had a cop do them dirty? But yet, how many brothers and sisters do we know have been done dirty? Black folks were taught to discipline our children through physical beating, then not such thought, verbal communication, which said, I'm not going to beat you, so the police don't. Okay, but I understand that. Let me see the rest. Beating or killing whites is a last resort. I got you. But again, once we know it's wrong, Brother Brown, can't we change that? Aren't we having verbal communication right now? So why can't we then, when we get off Facebook Live right now, turn and do the same things within our family and then go out and search for other brothers and sisters who are doing exactly what we're doing? Like right now, the brothers and sisters that you see on this post, from Lisa to Sean to Trevor, and my man Yolanda's here. There's quite a few. Brother Lauren Green is here. My man Hearn, Hearn's here. There's a lot of people here that if you just went up and down, Angela, I see, if you just go up and down, just the people who are responding to this post right here, and if you have not joined them, join their pages and have conversations with them. Every one of the people that's posting here are people who verbally and intellectually could help if there's things that you need. And they all, Phoenix is here, C. Rain and Valerie, my aunt's here, Jeanette, Andrew, these are all intellects. So we can change the situation, but I was getting to that, Brother Green, is that, but we have to be willing to step up, because to make that change, we're going to have to fight our own and the system. Because so many of our own are convinced that the system is one way and they won't see it another way, as well as the system, yes, is in place. But we have to be willing to follow the lead of the Panthers and do the things necessary, if it means putting our lives on the line. I have a tattoo on the left side of my arm. I worked in the prison system for 10 years, also went in back rooms, of course. Okay, but that doesn't stop. You're one person, and that's a beautiful thing. But now you got to share that with other brothers and sisters to get them, because it has to come in numbers. Because as you've seen, now just take the video from North Carolina, the uprising in North Carolina from last night. If every one of those brothers could be reached somehow, and sisters that were out there could be reached, we could do something. It was not designed for us, but where are we going to go? We're not going to all pack up and go somewhere where all of a sudden free land is given to us for us to start over. So we got to we got to do what we can do here. I understand the Garveyite method. The Garveyite method will go back to Africa and we'll reestablish ourselves. That's not going to happen. We're here. So we know the system wasn't designed for us, but here's my question. Then why do we continue to feed a system that wasn't designed for us by the products and things that we purchase with our money? We have to turn that around and take care of the individuals within our sites and take care of them. You have Lisa who's on this line right here. Lisa's someone who has her own business. Sean has his own business. Lauren Green has his own business. I have my own business. Phoenix Rain has her own business. Brother Zion has his own business. So that right there is who you turn to fix some of the problem. Do business with folks who are like-minded. Talk to folks who are like-minded. Teach each other until we become like-minded. Go into schools and demand that certain things are taught. I just posted a video up today that shows that Malcolm X said 50 years ago some of the same things that's being done today. Well, a system won't change until folks change it within themselves. We can't change history. We can only change the future. I filed a complaint, was unlawfully detained and given a speeding ticket when I was speeding. I stopped. Now look at the recent. Okay, I'll check it out in a second, but this is what I'm talking about. We the people was not included. I understand that, but we can't change that. We the people, we were owned by slaves. But do you know that the folks that we were fighting against offered us absolution in England? But okay, here's the thing. Folks fled this country. Folks fled this country to parts of Europe that actually accepted them as people of color. Not as many, but some. We are here. If we continue to look back at the past and say they didn't, which is true, then we can't focus on the now, which is what do we do today? I arm myself with the knowledge of what was, but then today, what do I do today? How many young brothers and sisters do I do today? Brother Lauren Green, who's on this post right now, right here, has a global marketing network, transactioncity.com, that he created with the knowledge of what Amazon does, what eBay does, and a lot of other marketplace does. He could have easily went to work for those companies. Instead, he created his own and looks to give back to people of color. Why is he struggling for support? Because brothers don't know how to let go of being taken care of instead of being the force behind who takes care of them. We have to change that with our economic power. And all of us have to look at that. Do we have to do business with folks who don't look like us? In some areas, yes, because we're not self-sufficient yet. Well, thank you, brother. Well, if you were to come by, see, now I'm upset by that, Brother Brown, because if you came by my page and talked to me, you would know who Brother Green is because I've mentioned him a couple of times. But here, now that you know, there you go. Join Brother Green. And actually, if you want to check out who he is, Brother Brown, check out Transaction City. Actually, Brother Green, put that up for me, transactioncity.net. So everybody reading this can click on the link to understand who Brother Green is and why I partner with him. You got it, brother. Listen, but that's the beautiful thing. That's why we have to talk. Everybody up and down this line here, everyone that's here. And it's interesting that this group of people showed up when they did. Everybody here should join everybody's page. Everybody here, from the author that I have here, the business folks that I have here, the hairdressers, business owners, DJs, you got a few on this line right here. Trevor owns his own business. Thank you. I was about to say, there we go. Put it in, brother. Everyone that owns their business, please put it up so the folks that read this or come back and see this will know who you are. Put up location. If you have a physical location, Lisa, put your physical location up. And if somebody can, put bravenpublishing.com up for me, because I just don't feel like typing because I don't want to hit the off button. I did that the other day trying to put something in. But the key now is don't stop from today. Now, Sunshine Cleaning Service. That's out of Queens and Brooklyn, right? Our boroughs, Trev. And now some of these brothers and sisters are in New York, but Brother Brown, I'm here in Delaware. And we could definitely get together and talk, just to be able to talk, to reach out. Well, you met me before. You know I'm an approachable brother. I'm here. I'm studying human service counseling now. I just left a job paying me $87,000 a year because I want to change the direction that I'm going in, because I can't fight the system as an educator any longer. So I'm here. Thank you. I appreciate it. Definitely. Please do, brother. I'm here in Delaware because I wanted to change my life and change in a different direction. Brother Tommy Allen, what's going on? Another extreme DJ and business owner here. Somebody else who's worked in the school system with me who understands exactly what I'm saying. But we got to link up, brothers and sisters, because it has to be about teaching so we can cut down on this fear. I left teaching the Department of Education because I wanted to do something different. I'm actually back in grad school because I want to learn to counsel professionally. Not just something I do when brothers and sisters reach out when they got something wrong. I want to do it professionally. Everyone that has a business, everyone that has some type of venture, I don't care if you have a book, CD, if you have anything that you produce, put it on this right now. Put it up right now. If you have a website, put it up right now. Let all the brothers and sisters that's here now and that will see this get to know who you are. If you have a service or a skill or something, put it up right now and let folks know. Because we can't change the system yelling at it and getting upset with it. We have to use that anger to fuel our motivation. One of the reasons why I came on this morning, like I said, I don't normally get on live in the morning because this is the time I have set to do my graduate work. But I knew if I didn't get this negative energy out, I was never going to be able to study this morning, because I was hurting this morning just thinking about the fact that you could leave your house and never come back home and you didn't do anything wrong. And that I'm hearing in North Carolina, they was exercising a warrant, but the dude that they rolled up on wasn't the dude that they were looking for. So now his life is taken because of what? Because I'd be angry too if you run up on me and I didn't do anything. But now we know that that is costing us our lives. So until that changes, we got to come up with a plan of how do we stay calm to get home and then fight. Hold the lawyers that you know. Anybody you know, I don't care if they're family of a lawyer, hold them accountable. Tell them that they need to tell their brothers, their sisters to start taking these cases. Because you know what? When money is paid out, some of these districts don't have the money. Enough money paid out, they'll make these cops stop. So even if they're doing it for the wrong reasons, even if they stop killing us because of economics, you know what? If enough of us are not dying, that's more of us that can fight. And then we can look to change it for other reasons. But right now, we got to get the killing stopped, because they're only going to increase. Civil unrest is going to lead to the outright murders in the streets, because they're not going to allow you to keep destroying police property and do nothing. And the minute that they open up them guns, everybody is getting it that's out on the street. That means innocent people that are out there and something turned violent is going to get it. And when we look at history, yes, just go look at the protests at Kent State. They opened up on hippies. So it's not just us when protest is happening. At some point, we have to find alternatives. And Brother Brown, I agree with you. This system was not designed for us. It didn't take us into account, but we're here. And we're a major part of that system. But we have to hold the people who are making money in this system accountable. Our athletes, our entertainers, our politicians, everybody in that 1 to 5 or 10% who is making money, we have to hold them to it. Yes, brother, my heart hurts too. But I'm a praying man. But I also know that God requires action. So take that hurt and funnel it into motivation to learn. Funnel it into motivation to connect. Like I said, I'm right here with you in Delaware. We'll reach out and we'll talk. I think I sent you a number and we'll get together. And we'll figure something out. Hell, I guess the two of us will start something. I don't know. We're both former New Yorkers, so we'll figure something out. But everybody has to look to do something, offer something. I don't care if it's just getting on Facebook Live and offering counterpoint to what you know to be wrong. Start using the technology for what it's capable of. Start using the technology the way it's supposed to be. We are now Yes, we are. Yes, brother. No doubt. No, thank you, brother. And listen, Sean, you know, you and I go all the way back to York. We've known each other for almost 30 years, brother. And I'm going to tell you something. Those of us that are over 45, we got to find a way to link up with the younger folks in something that we do. You as a DJ and as a father and as a brother who has put time in the system, brother needs, yes, faith without works is death. We got to stand up. So, Brother Mace, you know that you've seen a lot working for the public, just like I have. We got to find a way to give that back, not just in your grandkids, but in other people that you come across. Yes, well, first Jim Crow, then from Jim Crow, the laws changed where they was like, okay, mass incarceration because they can still make money off us. But many of us have never been to jail. Many of us, yeah, Brother Brown, there you go. I'm 48, about to be 49. So we all in the same age group. Everybody over 40 knows what that's like. But here's the offset to mass incarceration. I know many brothers and sisters who have never been incarcerated. We got to find ways to get their voices out to explain what they need to do. And when brothers get home from incarceration, find a way to re-educate them. Find a way to get them to be able to create on their own. But we can't do any of that if we don't create resources for them. Meaning, if right now, if everyone on this line right here has business, then we need to know about it. And we need to be able to talk to each other. We need to be able to do business with each other, because the less reliant that we become on those who don't care about us, the better it is for us. The more that we can keep the dollars in play for ourselves, the stronger we become. We have to set up a support system, but it can't be talk. It has to be legitimate. It has to be sitting down and saying, okay, if I don't do nothing else but open up lines of communication. So I want everybody listening to this today or whenever you listen to it, reach out to someone today just to make sure that their business, you have all their business information. So if you're somewhere and someone says, I need a DJ, you already know who to give that to. If somebody says, I need some information because something happened at the prison, you know somebody that you can speak to that got that information. I need something that happened at my son's school. I'm going to call KL because I know he used to be a teacher. If I need to write a book, I'm going to call KL because I know that's what he's doing. We got to know what each other is capable of. When you need information, there you go, Brother Green right there. And let me tell you something. Brother Lauren Green is a mad scientist. You got to get close to this dude. And let me tell you something. Put that website up again, Brother Green, transactioncity.com. I'm a partner with Brother Green on this site because I'm telling you, what he is trying to do and what we're going to do together is going to change lives for people of color. I stopped being afraid of my people. Yes. Yes, brother. I appreciate that. And you know what, brother? How we met was God filled. You were there doing one thing. I was there doing something. I guess it was 5 years ago. You walked over simply because you saw how Tiff and I were interacting with each other. And that's how we met. And I didn't forget that. And I remember what you shared with us. And if you remember, we were all having a conversation when a woman walked over and said, God told me to come over here and see what y'all were talking about. So here we went from just you and I talking to almost 6 or 7 people involved in what we were saying. That's how it works, brother. That's why I don't change what I do. I know God has given me a gift and I use it. And if I can get more brothers and sisters to hear me, then let's make it go. I'm telling you, Brother Green, listen, every skill that you have, take note of it. Find a way to offer that skill to someone else who may not have it. I don't care what your skill is. Everyone that can hear my voice and watching this video right now, God gave you a talent. I don't care how minuscule you think that talent is. God gave it to you. Use it. Use it to help others and watch. Things will start to change. The more you link up with other people who's using their talents, watch how things start to change. But it can't be just talk. Talk is the door opener. We then have to do something. That's why I'm partnered. I didn't forget that, brother. I didn't forget what you shared with me. I was overly impressed that you came out and said, you know what? I just want to tell you what's going on in my life. I didn't forget that because it was it was a fantastic moment for me because you just walked over. Me and Tiff was just doing what we do. A formal 1 and 1 from school. There we go. We have to, brother. There's actually 3 types of education. There's a business education or lack thereof, formal education or lack thereof, school and other things, and then there is a life education. sadly, many of us don't get all three. So we're stuck in just one. We need to have some type of formal education about something that we enjoy. We need to have some type of business education about something that we enjoy. And we need to start to understand what the whole picture of our life is and has been. So we need to know our history, but then we need to know what we're going to do to go forward. We need to know what we can do, who we can link up, and we have to start holding our own accountable. Stop acting like we don't know what's going on in our own neighborhoods. Stop waiting for other people to do something. Now, does that mean we're in conflict with some? Yes. Does that mean we're going to be in peril? Yes. But I'd rather be in peril with a group of people who's like-minded like me than being in peril sitting on the side of a road not knowing if I'm going to catch it or not. Now, I may not be able to change the side of the road, but if I can change where I live at, and if I can change what's going on around where I live at, and if I can change the way some of these teachers are teaching because my knowledge is cannot be argued, well, now we've started to hold some people's feet to the fire. If I can start to take my money away from some people and give it to other people, they'll show up. You know why they're going to show up? Because they counted on your money. They counted on you showing up to put their kids through college. So when that money is not there, they're going to come to you. Well, why'd you stop doing business with me? Because you're not doing business for me. When you start doing business for me, maybe I'll give you some of my money back. It is what Dr. King showed us in Selma, Alabama. The protest to riding the bus was, we're not going to spend any money on the bus company. So you know what happened? When the bus company started losing money, they came to the table and said, okay, what can we do? But here's what people don't talk about and why you have to read history. The federal government saw that other people were following Dr. King's lead around the country and were staging these type of economic protests. So they quickly changed the segregation laws in certain areas of business. So we can make changes to this government by doing the things that's necessary with each other. Part of what I'm trying to do is with Brother Green with Transaction City. I am trying to get authors to leave Amazon.com alone. Why? Because Amazon takes 55% off the top. Before you do any business, they take 55% and leave you what's left. So how are you going to take more than half from me? Yes. Chinese and Korean kids have we put through college with our chicken wings weave. Yes, sir. When we got brothers and sisters who will do the same weave, cook the same chicken, but we get mad because we're not giving it to Chanel. We're not giving it to Lisa. We're not giving it to Chef Javel, Chef Rowe, Chef Anissa. Now, these are chefs that I know, Chef Uniqua, Chef Danielle. These are chefs that I know on my page. I know at least 5 chefs that are here. So why would I ever need to go somewhere else when I got chefs that can cook the foods that I see on TV? So I routinely did business with Chef Rowe and Chef Javel. Thank you, please. And put your educational background up too. Put it all up there. Let folks know what you do, what you know. This is how we start to save the problem. And if you don't know, yes, I have a associate's degree in business. I have a bachelor's degree in physical education. I have a master's degree in curriculum writing and assessments in education. And I'm working on a master's degree in human service counseling with a specialization of Christian ministry. So yes, I'm working on my 2nd master's degree. I have 20 years education in the educational system as a teacher and as a dean. I am certified to teach the health curriculum in New York City. I actually was one of the teachers that helped with the new health curriculum. I was actually invited to sit down with the CDC, and I was part of the planning committee that helped with that being a choice in New York City. So yes, I was part of the change of health education in New York City. I was one of the 15 teachers invited to sit down and be a part of the CDC and the health education department in New York City. And yes, I still left. And so, as well as you know, I am a 3-time published author who owns his own publishing company, Braven Publishing. And we have worked on or published a total of 33 books in 6 years. That we don't have land to house or feed each other, nor the land moving logistic train. Yes, but this is what we have to do. But you know, the thing is, I'm going to tell you something. Here in Delaware, they got land for sale all over the place. So I think a part of it is we don't have land in areas that we might want to be in, we might have to start looking in rural areas to go buy land and start in those areas to begin with. We may have to change where we're looking to do business and build different areas. Just a consideration. That would be something that we would come to the table to talk about. There you go. We have to start growing the things necessary to sustain life, which is food, as well as we have to feed our brains. We have to feed ourselves knowledge, feed ourselves real food. I was working out the other day and I was like, damn, why am I doing this? Because I have to be here for my daughter. I like being a big guy. I've enjoyed being big dog. Now I got to be medium dog because I got to be here for the little one. And I hate that these knees hurt after all those years of doing whatever, but we have to do it. But you guys have to make sure that you explain the importance of that ownership. Your Facebook lives, your Facebook posts, your in public conversations have to let brothers and sisters know why it's important that you have ownership of property, that you have ownership of business, that you have knowledge of why logistics and business is important. We have to have strong conversations on the logistics of history, not just the pain and the problems of history, but logistics of what came from certain eras that can now be used today. Brother Green does it often when he says that his father started the idea 20 years ago and now he's brought it to a different level. Well, the first thing folks will go, well, how did your father know about the internet 20 years ago? And they're not listening. The idea of global marketing. And we have to, yes, but that's another thing too, is that we definitely have to make those changes because the food is killing us because they can no longer create it the way it used to be created. Farmers are losing out. But I think that's one of financing is a problem. We have the cash, but actually isn't sufficient to acquire land. But actually, it's sufficient in other areas, Lisa. It's not sufficient in the city because the city has been taxed out. We may have to almost do like in the past. We have to do like the settlers and start to head on out west or head into other areas where there is land. Because just driving to where I take Tiff to work every morning, I come across acreage of land that's for sale. I mean, and there's an auction place that, yes, it's funny that you say that. There's an auction place that we pass. They sell everything. And the Amish come down from Pennsylvania, and there's a lot of business going on that's done with whites and blacks. So it's not just all one-sided, and there's property and land to be bought. But the question is, are folks willing to come out of the cities to come to rural areas? It's available, but it's a question of what are you going to do with it once you have it? And that's what's extremely important, that we have to share with each other. We can, but that's something that has to start with 4 or 5 or 6 like-minded people. Just take the bold look. UBA is proof, not that I like the outcome, but the UBA is proof that if brothers and sisters put things together, you can make things happen on a grander scale. Now, what it becomes when it starts to grow, well, that's where you got to have your moral compass and things in place. But what you have to do is we have to teach why the purchase of land and land ownership is important, because when they start to change areas, the person that owns the land has the power. And many of us that have paid attention to our history understand that. All those people that own their homes down there near the Barclays Center got a gigantic bump on the sale of their homes simply because they were going to hold up progress of the opening of the Barclays Center. So they actually offered them some 2 to 3 times what their homes were worth. Unfortunately, there was a couple that they actually took, a couple of